Hi everyone, this is Noriko DeWitt. Welcome to my online classroom. Today, we are going to discuss the artwork of Nancy Cox, one of my students. So she is working on a landscape on a blue tinted paper. And the landscape involves a lot of snow. So this is going to be interesting and exciting. So let's take a look. All right, so here is Nancy's work. She is working on a landscape piece with a bridge and lots of snow and water reflections. So her question was really where to go from there. So last time we were working on this section right here, defining the bridge and also defining some shadows there. And I would like to start by adding just a little bit more shadow and maybe work on the snow here. And then maybe we can just kind of fill out some of the area in between as well. So first thing first, I want to take a look at her reference photo. And you can kind of see this corner right here. It's really dark, and so is the area right immediately underneath this wooden section. Go ahead and start with black and darken some of the area. And I believe last time we haven't added the black yet. So what we're gonna do is first we're gonna start with this letter L right here. So we're gonna draw this upside down letter L. Go really dark on the corner. And we're gonna fade it out. Now I also would like to define this area right here. So see if you can go ahead and draw a quick line. Fade it out and darken this area in general. Light touch of black to tint this area down. Right here. Go dark. Along the bottom section of the bridge. And fade it out. Right underneath, see if you can go ahead and drive this black. Okay, and this right here. So here's the post that goes to here, and this wooden piece kind of goes to about here. And this is the part you want to add just a little bit of shadow. This area is dark, so you can tint it down, but not as dark as this section. And continue on the other side. Make a letter L right here and fade it out. And what I want you to do, Nancy, is also to just roughly define these lines here with black and fade it out. So think of like the series of drawing letter L's right here and darkening the corner. Okay, now let's take a look at the snow area. Nancy's working on this piece using a little bit of the pale blue color paper, I believe. So I know this the printed version of it doesn't look so blue, but actual paper has really slight kind of bluish color to it. Now, because when we add white is going to show as white, the first thing you might want to do is to just go ahead and erase it and then start adding white and kind of take it from there. So for this snow outline, first thing you might want to do is to gently erase. And then with the outline, I'm thinking of using gray lavender. And there's like lots of zigzag bumps going on around here. And it ends about here. After that, switch to white. And start adding some highlights for the snow. Now we're gonna start adding some texture to the snow. And we're gonna start by adding a little shadow using 10% cool gray. This color won't show all that much, but don't worry, we're gonna add more color as we go. Now the bottom part of the snow, like right about here, it is definitely a little darker shadowed area, so we're gonna go ahead and take gray lavender. Now in a reference photo, most of the snow appears as gray color. But just to make it a little more interesting in this project, we are interpreting snow, the gray color of the snow, as being either purple, pink, peach, or blue. And that way it's gonna make this piece more interesting. Okay, actually I'm noticing that this actually goes slightly lower past the snow. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and define that before I forget. So let's take Tuscan red. And drop it down just a little bit further. And this bottom section is really dark, almost black. So we're gonna darken it using black raspberry. And then we're gonna add a little bit of black right on the bottom section. Fade it up. And then we can continue with some of the shadows here. Add a little bit of cloud blue on top of gray lavender to mute the color a little bit. We're gonna also add a little bit of cloud blue on the top part of the snow to start adding some texture. Now some of the area I see more like bright, almost creamy kind of color. So wherever you see really bright white snow, I want you to try to surround it with a little bit of yellow. I mean, in this case, cream color. So then you can accentuate the brightness a little bit more. Now when you put this cream, careful not to add the blue color right next to it, because if you do that, then you can turn the color into more greenish color. You don't really want to have green color snow. So okay, let's add this is deco peach. Let's go ahead and add a little bit of deco peach here. Now Nancy, you can have fun with this. More pink, yellow, pastel color you add, then more it suggests the time of this the scene to be either dawn or dusk. So if you want to get the feeling of setting sun or just sunrise early in the morning, then you might want to add just a little bit more of those pastel colors. The other color that's probably good is a little bit of light peach. That's another great color to add. So I would probably go in between like light peach, deco pink, and deco peach. I am going to add a little bit of deco pink right about here. I think we can go a little bit more shadow right down there in the bottom section. See if I can add just a little bit of slate gray. And let's tone it down. Now when you're toning it down using color pencil, the gray color, you can either use warm gray or cool gray. In this case, let's start with warm gray, because I want to tone down the blue just a little bit. How about we add a little bit of Blue Belt Lake, followed by 50% warm gray. So the reason I'm using a little bit more of the different color before adding the gray color is to make sure that the gray doesn't look too monochromatic. When you layer warm gray over some of the other colors, some of the blues and purples, then the warm color looks a little bit more complex and more interesting. Let's add a little bit more warm gray to create a little bit more of the texture on the snow. Think of like sculpting the snow and just see which area it should go dark. Now, I am going to add a quick dark color right above here, just so that we can see our progress. Now, in a reference photo, this section right here, there's a lot of trees with a little bit of snow on it. So we're gonna just add a little bit of color to show the trees, foliage behind it with a suggestion of the snow. Now, before you add anything here, Nancy, what I would like you to do is go ahead and take, if you have one of these sharpened bamboo chopstick, that's awesome. If you don't have one of these, you can use empty ballpoint pen, or crochet needle is another great tool. See if you can scratch and indent right below this line. The reason for it is that when you look at the reference photo, there's a slight ice on it, so the bottom part there's just a little bit of highlight that's going on. When you indent it and you add the color, then you can actually create the highlight like so. So I'm adding kelp green line right here. As you can see, it's already creating the highlight right there. And we can do the same thing right here. Go ahead and draw a line. Indent, and then add this kelp. Go ahead and add the green right here, and then after that, what I want you to do is kind of randomly add the snow pattern from the tree. I'm not looking for perfection here. You don't have to do it exactly, so long as you have like some abstract white highlight shapes like this. That's great. Right over the gray lavender section, go ahead and draw line. Outline this with kelp. If your pencil's not so sharp, make sure your pencil is super sharp for nice crisp line. And see if you can go ahead and color that in. Now as you color it in, you'll probably notice that your white highlight shrinks pretty quickly. So when you're outlining this snow highlights, make sure you are making these shapes a little bit bigger than the actual shape. Okay, so I have something like this. We're gonna add just a little bit more definition for the fun of it. How about we add black grape, and we're gonna add just a little bit of shadow. So this part is more impressionistic work than not. So I'm just randomly adding this in a little zigzag here and there. And as for the snow, let's tone it down just a little bit using Cloud Blue. And as needed, add just a little bit of white highlight. And finally, after you're done and you're happy with it, go take very thin pencil in black. Make sure your pencil is sharp and clean up some of the lines. So I'm focusing on like having nice crisp line right underneath this line, and this line, make sure it's nice and straight, and this angle is nice and square. And another area is right above the snow, just to give a better definition. And another thing I'm gonna do is to add this black line along the bottom of the snow.
fade it out on the bottom, cast some shadow. So something like that, and after that maybe you can continue this same thing here and see if you can fill that section, and you can probably do the same thing here and here as well. The only difference is that you're gonna have to define this top section. So I'm gonna wrap this up for now. Hopefully this was helpful, Nancy.
Here's a list of colors we use for today's tutorial. So here it is. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. I would love to hear from you. Are you interested in being part of my online art class? You can submit your work to be discussed or have private video or email consultation. There's a link in the description box below. Thanks again for watching and see you next time. Bye!